Hey, what's up guys? It's Lego Hobo 910 here with another Lego video. And in this video I'm going to be reviewing set number 75154, the Rogue One TIE Striker. And first of all, I want to say, if you haven't seen Rogue One, I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, because it kind of clears up a bunch of stuff that didn't make sense at the beginning of A New Hope. And it's just really well made. It has great characters, a great plot. And it's probably one of the best Star Wars movies I've ever seen, and I highly recommend it. Now let's get right into the review. As there is only one build, that's what we're going to start with. Normally we start with the smallest, but this is the smallest and the largest, so we're going to start with it. First of all, I just want to say the build on this, it was kind of boring. The first few bags building the main body of it, those were fairly unpredictable and kept it interesting. But then there was one bag for each wing, so that got kind of boring and repetitive, and then one more bag to kind of finish up the main body, and that was a good bag, so the build was meh. It wasn't too fun, but it wasn't, like, super boring. I've had builds that are more boring than that. But these wings, even though they do take a full bag each, they are really well done, and they look really sleek, and just have a great design to them. And then also, on either side, like on the other wing, it has this as well. There's these little kind of panels here with stickers on each of them. And if we flip it around, the other wing has that. The other wing is exactly the same. It's just a mirror image. And then they're hinged up here, except there's a certain way that you activate those hinges, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I think this is really good, especially this use of sand blue. And then the light gray and the dark gray here. And now moving on to the back. This is just very rounded looking, and this is how you angle the wings. These little levers. You can take that and push it up. It can either be down or up. If you try to position it in the middle, it just falls down. This is actually a really ingenious little device here. You can see that little kind of boot-looking thing there. It just swivels up and down like that. And then, of course, it can do that with the other side as well. Now, the top of the main body of this looks pretty neat. It has a lot of stickers on it, though. Like, here is 4 stickers, and then there's also a sticker there and a sticker there. This is just one big piece, and if you open it up, you can get into the back, and there's a pair of binoculars there, a walkie-talkie, and a blaster. I'll get those out. Here, those are just a molded blaster piece, and these molded, like, futuristic-looking binoculars, which are really hard to get out of there. You just kind of have to try to knock them off with your finger, and then turn it upside down and just shake it out. If you have smaller fingers, you can probably get it out, but... And then, here's the walkie-talkie. This is 2 pieces. Just the normal walkie-talkie piece. And then this sand blue tile with this sticker on it. That gives it a lot more detail. Also, I really like all the texture that they have on the top of this. Like the binoculars here for some more texturing and detailing. And then moving to the front, they use a ingot piece in gray here. And then just, like, these slopes. And then there's a sticker again giving more detail. And if we open that up, you can see into the cockpit. And there is some detailing in the cockpit. I'm going to take out the minifig and try to get you a better view. You can see in there a bit better, but also the front here opens up. Which means you... Oh, oops. Looks like Fate wants me to show you these little shooters on the bottom here. Basically, the way those work is the way all these shooters work. You just push on that, and it shoots out. There's 2 of them, and they shoot out with a really good velocity. If I just press here, you can see it shot out really fast and hit the back, and then bounce back. Looks like now we're going to be going on the cockpit. If you look in there, you can see this droid body is kind of the controls. And then, also, like most of the vehicles recently, they don't actually connect in with studs. They just sit in there, and that piece kind of goes between their legs and holds them. And then there's that nice, tan, comfortable-looking seat. Though something that bugs me about those way those shooters are put in there is they're really easy to accidentally knock out, as you could see before. Now, turning it over, you can see the bottom. The bottom of the wings looks terrible, and the bottom of this looks terrible. So this is one of the spaceships that I don't think would look very good hanging up. Because I know you can hang up a lot of spaceships, like you just use some string and then just hang it from the ceiling, and they end up looking pretty cool. This one I wouldn't recommend it because the bottom of this is just hideous. Though the sides here I'm surprised on how much they detailed them because most of the time they're going to be covered by the wings and you're not going to be able to see them. They used a little telephone piece, and I just accidentally knocked out the missile again. They use a little telephone piece for some more detailing. I'm going to try to get some more light in there. Yeah. And then you can see like a pattern of the light gray and dark gray there, and it just looks really, really good. And also they kind of continued it a bit there, even though it's covered up by trying to keep it mostly light gray and dark gray. So I really like that, because normally when there's like little bits of stuff showing, they have like giant red and blue pins and stuff. Starting with the first minifig and the least unique is this Rebel Trooper. Every Rebel Trooper in Rogue One is unique. They don't just like copy it over and over. They have like the same helmet design, but it's in different colors and slightly different shapes. Their torsos are similar, but once again slightly different. Same with their legs and their faces. They're all slightly different, but they're similar. So this is the least unique, but it still is unique. His gun is just kind of that medium gun piece with a Technic pin on it. For front printing, he has a decent amount on the torso and a bit of subtle printing on the legs. And then turning around to the back, there's just a bit of straps. Here's this really neat helmet piece that for some reason I really like, and is really accurate as well. And it has a bit of printing there, like a little yellow logo. And then he just has this one kind of angry but confused looking face. He looks kind of confused because of that raised eyebrow, but then again he looks angry. And then he also has a second face, which is smiling. This is the least unique minifig. It's just a TIE pilot, and there's a lot of those that have been made for different waves. They're probably slightly different than this, but I don't really have many other Star Wars sets other than Rogue One ones. And if you look on the front here, there's just a little bit of detailing with a lot of silver, that belt, and then like tubes and nozzles and stuff there. And then if you move to the back, there's just a bit of line detailing. His helmet has a lot of silvery prints on it, and it just looks really nice. But then if you take it off, he just has that angry clone face that they use for pretty much every clone trooper and stormtrooper. This is probably this minifig just doesn't really fit in. Be sure it's like, this is meant to be in the Battle of Scarif, where they did have TIEs landing. But the landing crew just seems kind of unnecessary, and they should have at least given him like a gun. But it just uses like these two binocular pieces with then orange little bumps on top to create the two little like things that they wave around to lead them. And then the front printing, there is a decent amount of it, and it's fairly detailed and intricate. Especially the part that goes down along the legs. It's just a few lines, but it really gives a good effect. And then they have the belt. If you move to the back, there's just a little bit of lines, and like you can kind of see two little bumps there. And then this helmet's really interesting if you look at it from like a side profile. It has this weird funky shape, and that it kind of bumps in there, and that looks like where the eye slit would be, except there isn't an actual slit. They just filled it in with black. And also there's like 4 little kind of dents in there, which for some reason reminds me of a bowling ball. Then if you take it off, this is something that I really appreciate. They gave him a different face. He has like this little speaker microphone thing going down in front of his mouth, so he can like talk to the main control area and the people in the TIE fighter to help them land. And then he looks kind of puzzled. I really appreciate that they didn't just do the angry clone face. This minifig, this is the only set you can get it in right now. Same with all of the other ones except for the TIE pilot. They've probably made ones just like him. But he's the best minifig because shore troopers were really impactful on the Battle of Scarif. And I wish they actually got rid of the landing crew and replaced him with a shore trooper, and maybe even got another shore trooper in here. Like 2 or 3 would have been good. Though in like March, this won't be unique because they're coming out with a Battle of Scarif set. And that'll have 2 more shore troopers, so I'm really grateful for that because I really like these guys. He has this gun that is similar to the one in a Lego Batman movie, Mr. Freeze Ice Attack. It's literally the exact same thing. That one looked like a shotgun. This one still looks kind of like a shotgun, except since this is futuristic, I kind of imagine it more as a laser rifle now. And then he has this really cool helmet mold, which I really like. And then it's covering up a bit of the torso print there, but you can see that. It's like in the sand blue and that arm sand blue. He has this belt printing and a bunch of brown detailing on the legs. You turn it around to the back, and the belt just continues over in like that vest look there. Overall, this is a really cool minifig. And then if you take off the mask, sadly, it's Angry Clone. Now you can look at it for a bit more detail. There's like a bit of sand looking there. The silver detailing for the mouth and like the edges there. Overall, this is probably the best minifig in this set. Overall, I like this set, though there are a few things that could have been improved on. Like, the landing crew was kind of unnecessary, and there should have been more shore troopers, like I mentioned before. But then the actual build itself is pretty good. Though I kind of wish this included one of the main characters, like maybe Bodhi Rook, because he was pretty impactful on the Battle of Scarif, like, as kind of being on the landing pads and being more of a technician. And this is kind of set at a landing pad the way they show it on the box. But I have a few complaints about the build. The bottom is kind of ugly, and I wish that you could, like, that the missiles didn't fire so easily, because if you're trying to hold on to the bottom of it and have it fly around, it's really easy to bump those missiles and have them shoot out. Now that's all, and peace.